Good morning, it's Karen and I'm here to do the follow-on video from my favourite actives. This one is my favourite hydrators, oils and SPFs. I don't know whether that even makes sense as a title, but we shall see. So I've got some products here and I've also got my list because a lot of the ones that are my favourites I just don't happen to have at the moment. So I'll start with kind of hyaluronic acid type products. And I say type products because there's one that's like a hyaluronic acid but not. But this is my favourite hyaluronic acid. It's the No7 Hydraluminous water concentrate. This has got other lovely ingredients in it such as castor oil. You can see how far down I am. I'm down to about there, and this is something I would definitely consider repurchasing. It's a bit thicker and silkier than most of the hyaluronic acids that I have tried. But to me that it feels nicer. It doesn't just feel like water. A lot of the pure hyaluronic acids just feel like water going on, and I've never felt like they did very much for my skin, and or they would ball up on my skin and that would drive me crazy. This one doesn't ball up, it feels lovely going on, and it does give me extra hydration. I definitely feel a difference when I use this underneath a night cream, or even in the morning underneath the SPF, for example, the Ordinary SPF that makes my skin tight. If I use this underneath, my skin isn't tight. The two others that I love, one is the NIOD MMHC, which is multi-molecular hyaluronic acid. I've only had it maybe twice because it came in a set, and I liked the original. They came out with another one which was MMHC too, and I preferred the original one. It felt a little bit more oily. I think they said it did have something oily in it. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it felt different to me. But I do still like even the MMHC 2. That also felt lovely on my skin, but it's very, very expensive, and I would say I noticed just as much difference using this as I did with using the MMHC 2. So, you know, if money were no object, I would probably use the NIOD one, but it's expensive. Somebody left me a comment saying, why is NIOD so expensive? And I thought, I have no idea. I've never even thought about that. It's just a more expensive brand. I guess there's more expensive ingredients in there, or I don't know. And the other favourite that I said was sort of a hyaluronic acid, it's actually not at all, it's a polyglutamic acid, is the Inky List. Do you remember I bought the Inky List polyglutamic acid and I really enjoyed using that one, and again I did feel like I got hydration from that. That is supposed to actually perform better than hyaluronic acid, and it was sort of like a gel serum, sort of milky serum, felt very lovely and soft going on, and I definitely felt a difference. I remember I had very dry skin at the time I bought that, and I did recommend it to somebody who also enjoyed it. So that's one that I would consider buying again. In fact, I need to think about buying one from somewhere because I've only got a little bit of this left. I will either, if my skin is feeling dry or tight, I will add in something like a hyaluronic acid or a polyglutamic acid, or I'll use an oil. So if I run out of that, I would just use an oil instead. I don't constantly use oils and hyaluronic acids. I sort of see how my skin is feeling. Okay, onto oils, and I've only got one here to show you, but this is one that I love. It's the Superdrug Vitamin E Facial Oil. It does have a scent which I suspect there's perfume in it, but it's not an overwhelming scent. It's a tiny bit like baby powder. You know, that sort of Nivea smell. So I don't use it that often. It's not one I would want to use every day with it having fragrance in it, but it is one that when I use it, I really feel a difference in my skin. It just feels so soft. It's one that's like, it sinks in nicely. You know, you can use a little bit of this all over your face and it sinks in nicely. It doesn't make it feel really heavy and oily. I really love this. So the Superdrug Vitamin E Facial Oil. The others that I love, I don't have because I don't use oils that much, just because I tend to want to put an oil on top of a night cream if I'm using a night cream that has, say, actives in it or something that I want to penetrate my skin, because if I put oil on first and then a night cream, I'm really just using the night cream to seal in the oil. By the way, I use the words dry and dehydrated kind of interchangeably, and I don't think about using them correctly. But if your skin is dehydrated, then it needs water. You need to drink more water, and you need to apply things that will draw more water to it, like a hyaluronic acid or a polyglutamic acid. If your skin is dry, it means that it needs oils. So if it's dry and flaky, then it needs oils. But like I said, I use those two words interchangeably. So that's the only oil that I have. The other oils that I love, but I don't actually own at the moment, are all from the Ordinary. I like the Argan Oil, the Sea Buckthorn, and what's the other one? Oh, the Borage Oil. I would, if I had to choose one, it would be the Sea Buckthorn Oil, for how this is one of those products that I did think made a difference to my skin. I did think that I woke up the following day feeling like my skin was super soft and super hydrated after using the Sea Buckthorn oil. The only problem with it is the staining. It does make your face look completely orange. Even if you try to dilute it and put it in a cream, it's such a strong colour, very, very pigmented, and it does stain your pillows. But it did really make a difference to my skin. The other one was the Borage Oil. I felt a difference with that as well, and there's no problem with staining. So I'd probably buy both of them and use them interchangeably. Like I said, I need to buy some more hydration products, and so I'll probably buy the Borage Oil and the Sea Buckthorn Oil. But both made a difference to my skin. The third one is the Argan Oil. The Argan Oil for me has a funny smell when it first arrives. It is something I got used to, but it's quite a thick oil. It's quite a thick feeling oil to me, so I prefer the Borage Oil. And the Sea Buckthorn Oil are a little bit different in that respect, actually. The Borage Oil is still a little bit thick feeling, but the results are worth it. The Sea Buckthorn Oil isn't as thick feeling, but it is, you know, very, very pigmented. The Argan Oil is just that little bit extra greasy feeling, and I loved that one before the other two came out, if that makes sense. And it is one I would use again. It wasn't, you know, it was one that I loved. It's just I now love those other two more. And like I said, it had a bit of an odd smell to me. I do also love and use coconut oil occasionally. So on to night creams, and I actually only have two. These are the two that are my favourites. This is the No7 Hydraluminous range. I haven't decanted this one yet, I don't think. No, this one is full. I decant them into pots like this hyaluron jelly. This is an empty hyaluron jelly, but this would be my ultimate holy grail night cream to use, because I love this. You know, you press this down and the product comes out the middle. And so I can reuse this. I save all of these pots and I will decant that into here. It's just so much more hygienic. You know, you don't need to worry about the fact that you're putting your fingers in or using a cotton bud, etc. But this one would be my number one choice. Very, very hydrating, and it's a gel. And I would never expect a gel to be that hydrating, but this one really is. And I don't get on even with their hyaluronic acid serum. It didn't do much for me, but this jelly really does the trick for me. So I love that, and I love the No7 Hydraluminous range, but just make sure you check and see if there's any alcohol or anything in it, because some of them do have it in it. I was going to say, I think there's a little bit of fragrance in there as well, but they're really, I feel like No7 feels like a luxury brand, you know. For sun protection, I have three to talk about. The one that I don't have is the Ordinary Mineral Sunscreen. You guys know that I love it, the SPF30. I haven't bought it for a while simply because I've had other ones kind of in my drawer. I've still got some more to use up. The first one that I love is this, the Paula's Choice. This is the Essential Glow Moisturiser, broad spectrum SPF30. This is the one that feels the lightest. It feels very, very lightweight. It looks as if it's going to have a colour, but it really doesn't. There's no colour at all. There's no white cast at all. I'm pretty sure this is nanotechnology. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it is. It's titanium and zinc, but as you can see, no white cast at all, and very, very lightweight feeling. Great under makeup. Don't need to use very much. I know there's a certain amount you need to use for sun protection anyway, but you know what I mean. It spreads very easily. It distributes. You don't have to like really, with a lot of sun creams, I feel like you have to really, really rub them in, and you know, they're quite thick. This one isn't like that at all. So I love the Paula's Choice one. And then I also really enjoy this one. This is the Sunfragma SPF25 Melting Balm. They now do this in a tube. Obviously the jar packaging didn't work for them. And I've showed you this before in that you can tip oil out of it. oh, it's not quite as oily, probably because it all came out last time I showed it to you. It is something that feels very greasy going on, but don't worry about that because it does sink in. It definitely does absorb. It leaves a little bit of a shine, but not if you then put makeup on top of it. It's still really, really good under makeup. I don't have any issues with that at all. You can see it looks a bit messy just because I've been using a cotton bud to get that out. I would consider repurchasing this in the tube to see how I got on with that, but some people have been saying there is yellow fluid leaking out of the tube, which will just be the oil that's in here. But this is a chemical sunscreen, which I don't use very often, but this has got Tinazorb in it and I think it's called Juvenile, something like that, which are new types that are better than the ones that are disruptive to the environment, etc., etc. But I haven't fully researched them yet. That's only a quick look at them, but I do really, really enjoy that one. So that's the Facetheory Sunfragma SPF25. I think they're coming out with one that's an SPF50 as well. The final thing I wanted to show you if your skin is really dry is 2 hydrating masks. First one is the No7 Cica Rescue Skin Paste. This is one that you can either put on and wash off after 10-20 minutes, or it's one you can put on and leave to sink in. It's a bit of a funny texture if you leave it on and leave to sink in. It doesn't fully absorb, but I used this when, do you remember I told you I had that really dry patch on my neck? I would sometimes put this on at night and leave it to sink in, and I just felt like in general my neck was a lot softer and a lot more hydrated after using this, and I'm nearly out of this. This is what it looks like. Just looks like a lotion or a cream, a light cream, but it feels lovely going on, and yeah, it's nice either using it as a night cream or using it as a face mask. But also this one's probably the most expensive out of everything that I'm recommending. It's the Dermalogica Skin Hydrating Mask. I can't remember when I used this first, but it was a couple of years ago, and I was trying lots and lots of different things I think it must have been during my tretinoin testing time. Sorry about the grass mowing going on out there, by the way. Yeah, when I was using tretinoin and my skin was literally peeling off, I was looking for everything I could find that was hydrating, and this is one of the few masks that I found that I put it on and it really made a huge difference. It is super expensive. I think it's 30 something pound, and you can see I've not squeezed much out because I'm being really stingy. It looks like a sort of gel, but you put it on, some of it absorbs. You can see where you've got the really dry patches because it kind of sucks into your skin, and then you can rub the rest in or rinse it off, but it's really, really good. I'd highly recommend it. There's not many things of that price range that I buy, you may have noticed, and I think especially if I'm using it every day, I don't want to spend that much money on it, and I really don't want to spend that much money on a mask, but it is that good. That's everything for my favourite hydrators. I will link everything for you in case you missed the name of it or whatever in the description. I'll also put all my makeup in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon.